Who black women really choose. Look at this black woman being happy she was the absolute last round draft pick. Listen carefully to her husband explain how quickly he went back to his Asian ex.
It was May 2012. That is the time where I met Ruth. It was Memorial Day weekend. For those of you who haven't heard the story, Memorial Day weekend, it was a Sunday evening. We met at the top of Empire Hotel in Manhattan. Thus began our relationship. Now,
if you want to know the full story on how we met, it's actually pretty cool and interesting. Make sure you either click on some of the links down in the description down below on how we met and our first date and our first kiss, all of that. So all of that in the description down below.
In the following months, she was living upstate at the time, so I only saw her like once a week. It was on the weekend when she came down. And that summer of 2012, I ended up going to Greece. Now that's important for a few reasons. Like one, the previous 2 summers I had visited or traveled to Japan. Now why Japan? Well, I kind of still had someone that I was connected with there. It was a girlfriend I had when I worked and lived abroad in Japan from 2006 to 2009. I didn't stay there. I came back to the States after 2009 because I felt like I couldn't live there, or at least it wasn't my time to live in Japan. So I came back to the States. I was teaching. But the summer of 2010 and the summer of 2011, I did visit Japan for a couple of weeks to visit my girlfriend at that time. So 2012 was a little bit different because, I had met Ruth and we were dating, and I had told my girlfriend that I honestly didn't see a future, right? We still talked and everything. There was hope that we might be together, whatever. But in the end, I just felt like more and more I was just slipping away, and I didn't want her to come over here. She thought about, living here and working here, but I knew it just wasn't going to work because she's too much of a homebody, too much, for Japan, and she would miss, her family, friends, and everything over there. So I was like, no, it's not impossible. The only way for it to happen would be to me to move to Japan. But for some reason, I thought it would work, but it just didn't feel right. So I didn't go. So instead, I went to Greece for 2 weeks, and, Ruth was still in my mind, and, we were talking and stuff, and, we were kind of we didn't see each other for, 2 weeks, but in the end, it's just what it was. Mm-hmm. So I came back, and the next few months, our relationship strengthened and blossomed and everything.
Yeah.
And then comes December 2012, the same year, whatever. So I was talking to my former girlfriend from Japan, and she had notified me or informed me that she was getting married. And for some reason, it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, pardon the expression, but I was just I was in shock. I was like, wow, I can't believe she's getting married. And, for some reason for me, it's oh, why is she marrying this guy? In the end, for some reason, my thoughts were racing, and I was like, no, she should be marrying me. I should be marrying her, not some other guy, whatever. And we had spoken with each other via Skype and an email and everything, and she told me in the end, she really loved me the most, out of anyone she's ever met, and, and she thought of us having a future, but because I decided to stay in America, it's just not going to happen. So, after giving it a lot of thought, I wasn't too sure on my actions, but I kind of acted out of impulse, and I called Ruth, we connected, and I kind of broke up with her at that point.
Yeah, you didn't break up with me. You just said that you wanted to go to Japan.
Oh, right,
and see what happens.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I wanted to go to Japan and see what would happen and see, if it's really meant to be or not. If it's really, me and her, or if it's me and you and everything. Right. And that's what it was. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was wrong with that. Yeah.
So I get the call, and Derek is I want to go to Japan. It just happened because I didn't even see it coming. Because a week before we had actually had a great time.
Yeah.
We went to this place called Bryant Park in the city. We had dinner. It was really nice. And then that weekend, I got that call saying I want to go back to Japan because my ex-girlfriend is getting married, and maybe I might have a little bit feelings for her. I want to go see if it's right or wrong, whatever. So that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh, I'm finally beginning to fall for this guy. Because before that,
God have mercy upon us.
You see how the divester just sat there and accepted that she was 5th place at best. Now fast forward to 2024. Here's the same divester and her bald white man talking about her hair. Listen to how the white man addresses her. He pretty much calls her ugly and manly in so many words that she just laughs. Just listen.
you tell them why.
Why what?
You don't like my hair?
Yeah.
But it looks so good. I don't know. So I am kind of like, well, the thing is, he doesn't like it. So tell me why you don't like it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just don't like the locks on you, babe. I mean, it just doesn't fit you, I guess. Like your face, your profile, like you, like your being.
But I thought it looked good.
Like locks, you know, well, it's not just your looks, it's your personality too. Like locks just don't match, you know, your looks. I don't know. It's just, it comes off weird. Like, you know, when you have like a teacher, yeah, like you're a teacher in school, right? And like, you know, you come off having a certain hairdo, and this could be any woman, like, you know, and you're like, oh, that woman, she's not that nice, or she's that way, but mainly sometimes it's because the hair that she wears.
Like, sometimes I make my judgment based on, you know, the style. If it fits her, then, you know, it's good. If it doesn't fit her, then it's kind of like a negative thing, you know? Like, oh, I might like her, whatever, but, the hair, you know, it just doesn't match, just doesn't work.
This is what he said.
Locks just don't work on you, babe. I'm sorry.
This is what you said. You said that you saw, because we were watching TV and we saw this guy driving and he had locks and he's like, see, locks are so masculine. You need to, when I don't just like seeing it on you because it reminds me of, like, you know, I just want something feminine on you, so.
Well, yeah, that too. Well, yeah, no, locks can be feminine. It's just the way you look with them aren't that feminine. I mean, some other girls have it and look feminine, but you're like, your locks aren't that feminine. Like, you know, it depends. Like, again, it depends on the person. It's very individual. It's individual based. It's very,
now,
you know.
Do you know I'm going to lose a lot of my hair when I take these out? I'm already losing hair, baby.
I know, yeah, you've been shedding a lot. I've noticed that, actually. You've seen a lot of hair. Like, they're turning into, like, little dust balls, you know? Like, when you go and see the Western films, it's actually Russian thistle, I think it's called. Like, the, what are they called? Not dust balls. The, tumbleweed. Tumbleweed. That's it, tumbleweed. You know, like, in the desert, whatever. Yeah, it's an invasive species, I think. But anyway, it doesn't matter, whatever. It actually can pack up. I saw some crazy pictures of tumbleweed, like, you know, after a haboob, like a sandstorm or like, you know, a windstorm, whatever, just mounts on people, goes against people's houses. They have to, like, you know, and again, it's like this type of thistle. It's thorny and everything. I have to, like, push it. It's such a pain in the butt, but it could hurt too. But yeah, no. So yeah, I know. I have a little tumbleweed hair all over the place in the living room, the bathroom, and maybe if I collect it, I win a prize or something.
Notice how her feelings are not hurt. Divesters think that everything the white man says to them is a compliment because the white man acknowledging them is the prize.
The first is that black women come across as being masculine. Now, it's debatable whether this is down to genetics or whether it's just down to conditioning and environment, but this is the nature of reality, and this can often put white men off. Now, another black girl asked me how it's possible to appear less masculine and more feminine when around white men. My advice to you is to basically find yourself a best friend, okay? Find yourself a best friend, hang around with him for a few hours and get to know all the kind of mannerisms and all this kind of and what I'm saying is if you spend time with him, all that will rub off on you and you will appear, you will appear more effeminate as a consequence.
White man telling black women that moist men are more girly than them, so in order for black women to get a white man, act like a moist man. Take what you want with that. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Who black women really choose?